Squirting. When you leave her soaking in her own fluid, that's a win for both of you, or at least so it seems. But some people and cultures actually find it to be kind of disgusting, and as a result, some women even report feeling humiliated when it happens to them. In fact, in 2014, believe it or not, the UK actually banned the portrayal of squirting from porn. Can you even believe that? And all because they equated squirting with urine. They felt as though it was just a freaky urination fetish. But what does the science tell us about the profile of a woman who will likely be able to even squirt? Because let's be clear, not every woman will be able to. So I'm Dr. Rachael, and in this video, I am going to reveal the secrets that you can use to make sure that you have to change the sheets afterwards. In fact, you will even learn how a non-squirter can magically, with just a little bit of training, become a squirter. This part you can share with your female friends. But let's first talk about how. So for years, you may not have even known this was possible. Then you happened upon it in X videos or somewhere else like that, only to wonder if it was real. Then the next question, of course, becomes, how come my girl won't do that? Well, let's dive into the anatomy, because squirting is actually an explosion of fluid through the urethra, which is the same tube that pee actually travels through. That happens in some women when they orgasm. So let's review kind of the anatomy. Now, there are two holes down there. Yep, one hole is the vaginal canal. This is where babies come from. The vaginal canal is where blood during the menstrual cycle comes from, and that's where you penetrate during penetrative sex. That's the hole right there. The other hole is a tiny area called the urethra. This is where pee travels out of, and also where the fluids from squirting will flow outwards from. But where does this fluid even come from? What happens is, as she gets more and more turned on and stimulated in the area of the urethra, or that pee tube, there are glands wrapped around the urethra that start to fill up with fluid. These are called the Skene's glands, or the periurethral glands, and they fill up like little lakes or ponds, and as the pressure mounts, and she becomes more and more turned on, and orgasm hits, and the muscles from the pelvic floor actually contract, which causes the fluid to be propelled from those glands into the pee tube or the urethra. And then you have a flood. Now, there is some level of controversy as to whether or not female ejaculation and squirting are the same thing. But what is clear is that ejaculation is more of a smaller amount of whitish mucousy material, and that squirting fluid is more of a liquid, like a clear type of liquid. And as a physician and a sexologist, I think they are actually variations of the same thing. So for more information on the makeup of the fluid, make sure you check out the YouTube video I posted a while back on it. So we've explored the anatomy behind squirting. Let's discuss which women are more likely to squirt, and then we will also go into how some women teach themselves how to squirt. Now, in a questionnaire study, they asked over 1,200 women in the United States and Canada, and about 40% of them had ejaculated. Wow. So we can estimate that about 40% of American and Canadian women have the power to squirt. But the women who admitted to ever having ejaculated had one thing in common. They also reported being multi-orgasmic. These women are actually able to orgasm and then orgasm again and again and again. So if she tells you that she has never, ever had an orgasm, it will be highly unlikely that she will surprise you one day with the gift of squirting, okay? And also, interestingly enough, women who ejaculate and squirt were actually more likely to have held back orgasm due to the fear of just squirting all over the place. They actually felt like they might urinate on their partner and that they're going to be embarrassed. So compared to non-ejaculators, women actually have to feel comfortable enough with you in order to relax enough to squirt, even relax enough to orgasm. And if she isn't comfortable with you, if she's scared, or if she thinks you'll hate it or be mad, or if she thinks you'll be disgusted, it just ain't gonna happen. She will hold back and you'll never get the golden gift. Yeah, because studies indicate that women feel embarrassment when they squirt, likely because they ended up with partners who prefer the drier conditions. So these partners cringe and they freak out during the flood. Like, whoa, what is that? This is such a big turnoff that she may stop returning your calls and messages. And in fact, when women squirters from the United States were actually surveyed, many of them reported feeling humiliated and ashamed after ejaculating. So whereas in other countries, like Ghana, for instance, or Rwanda, squirting plays a central role in sexuality and sexual pleasure. So at this point, I'm going to ask you to take a minute and let me know below in the comments. Do you love the explosive shower that can come with the idea of your partner squirting, or are you more on the drier side? Does the idea actually turn you off? So here's the deal. A woman who isn't afraid to touch herself can also train herself how to squirt. You can actually get involved in this process, but the quickest outcome is for you to step back and let her learn herself, and then come in when she's actually ready. Now, a quick warning here is that you will need to be skilled enough. You'll need to have the skills to bring her to the squirting potential. Just because she can certainly doesn't mean that she will. So here's the step-by-step process that any graduate of my clinical sexuality coaching certification program could teach her. So we're talking squirting training. Yes, it's an acquired skill that thousands of women have taught themselves. Some do it naturally. So first, let's talk derailers. What could prevent this from happening altogether? Well, first thing you could do to derail this process is to expect it to happen, or to ask her about it over and over and over again, or to put pressure on her to just do it. Just send her the video and that's it. Now, the requirements for squirting training. 1, you need to have had an orgasm before and be curious and willing to touch yourself, because training requires you to do so. You should also try to have a full bladder during training, so don't urinate before you get started. And then give yourself at least 30 minutes. You got to get time. Step 1, get mildly turned on and stimulated. Read your favorite erotic novel or watch something. Listen to something that's going to get you turned on. Step 2, get relaxed and comfortable and ensure that there won't be any interruptions. Lie on your back and put your feet in the air. Bend your legs and rest them on the wall. Using a finger or a small probe that angles upward, I want you to find and isolate that spongy area that lies at the roof of the vagina. This is an area about 3 to 4 inches in at the top. All right. Now, since you're already turned on, you will notice that when you touch this area, you will have a mild sensation to urinate. That's when you'll know you're in the right space, and it will feel kind of pleasant. I forgot to mention, you got to cut your nails. Step 4, with pressure applied to the clitoris, simultaneously and intentionally, a back and forth motion angled upward on top of that G-spot will actually cause those Skene's glands, or the periurethral glands that I showed you in the anatomy section, to swell up and fill up with fluid. Step 5, bring yourself to orgasm.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Once a woman trains herself to squirt, that does not mean that she's going to squirt with you. You have to do your part. So let's put all of this together. After she has learned how to squirt and understands that she's able to, in order to repeat this during the throes of passion, the angle of penetration must be just right. You have to ask her to show you how you should touch her, how your stroke should be. That's the only way for you to learn your partner's body. And you have to unlearn everything you ever learned about the jackrabbit stroke. Boom, 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 boom. That's when you just simply climb up and pound away. The only way to make her squirt is to stroke. And to stroke her right. I'm Dr. Rachael. Subscribe to the channel and turn the notifications on so that you never miss out on these groundbreaking discussions. Now, share this video with someone special, and remember, no pressure, only the good kinds. Boom!